that's why you're here. So we kind of tag teamed and figure out what the best tips we had for you. And we broke it down into 6 simple steps on how to make sure that you get this promotion done. Okay. So Morgan is going to start. We're both going to share our stories, but she's going to start first and give the first tip and introduce her for those of you that don't know who she is, and vice versa. So Morgan, let me unmute you really quickly. Okay. You're good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, guys. This is going to be so good. Okay, so first off, let me just start off by saying that we personally are cheering every single one of you on to this promotion. We have hit this promotion ourselves before, and we know how it feels to go Ruby, and it literally is just so inspiring. Like, I remember when I hit Ruby, and it was just so freaking cool. So right now, before we get started, before I jump into my story, I want you to just pause for a second. Okay, this is going to be super, like, weird for some of you, but if you're on my team, you're like, yeah, we do this a lot. Okay, so close your eyes really quick. I want you to close your eyes, and I want some of y'all ain't got your eyes closed. Close your eyes. I'm just kidding. Close your eyes. Okay, so I want you to envision yourself going Ruby. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to put yourself at the end of this month. Maybe it's the 30th of the month. I mean, sorry, it's February. Maybe it's the 29th of the month or the 28th. So close your eyes, and where are you at when you promote? I want you to log into your eSuite with your eyes closed. Pretend like you're logging into your eSuite, and you go and you click on the reports, and then you go to Tree Viewer, and then right there where it says previously paid rank, it says distributor or executive, but under the current paid rank, it says Ruby. Do you see that? It says Ruby. How do you feel? Are you excited? Are you freaking out? Did you just start jumping up and down? Who is the first person that you just went and told? Who is the first person that you called on the phone and said, oh my gosh, I did it? Did you get on the phone with your enroller? What is that income going to do for you? Let's fast forward to March 8th. And on March 8th, you just opened up your paycheck. We're going to log into eSuite again. And we're going to go to our commissions. If y'all are typing in the chat, you ain't got your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're going to March 8th. We're on the eSuite. And we go up to commissions. What is that number on your paycheck? How many dollars and how many pennies? Tell me down to the cent what you see. And some of you are like, well, I just see the average. You're above average. What paycheck do you want at Ruby? And I want you to picture it there. It's in bold letters, like always. Your volume is right there underneath it. What is your volume? What does your volume end at in February when you went Ruby? You need a minimum of 2,000. We're not a minimum team. We are above average. So what was your volume? Now I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to let that visualization carry you through the Zoom, okay? And I challenge you to do that every morning with your promotion, because it's crazy that things that I've envisioned like that have started to happen. They've come true because I've just like literally felt it happen already, so that when it did happen, it's going to be weird when you hit Ruby. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. Like, maybe you will, but usually when I hit a promotion, I'm like, dang straight, because I done seen myself hit this 30 times already this month, because I visualize it every single day. And so it's not weird when I hit it. I'm like, yes, dang straight, because I already saw that 30 times. So I want you to do that for the rest of the month. Okay, so now let's get started. So my name is Morgan, and I'm so pumped to be on here with you. So I joined this business 5.5 years ago, almost, and I was a broke college student. I was 20 years old. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I worked 2 jobs, and I was in school full time. I found this business on Instagram, saw a girl posting about the wraps, thought they were a scam, thought it was Photoshop, thought they were fake. But I had been diagnosed with a heart condition a couple months before that, and I had gained a lot of weight. So I thought, if they do work, I would love to feel a little bit more confident. I don't think that they do, but I will just, see if they do. So I tried them, and I ordered the wraps. Didn't have the money to do it, but I did it anyways. And how many of y'all have done that? Ordered products you didn't have money for, but you were like, yep, I'm gonna take it. Oh, okay. So yeah, we do that a lot. So I tried the products, loved my wrap result, tried a couple of other products, and then found out that the girl who had sold me the products was actually making as much money from her phone while she was at school as I was working as a full-time nanny watching 3 kids for 40 hours a week. And I never looked at her and thought, if she can do that, so can I. I looked at her and I thought, if she can make that kind of money, I could make $100 a month. And that's what I joined for. I just wanted gas money and grocery money. And fast forward to now, because I've just stayed with it. Been in this business for 5 years, probably longer than any of you have been in here. And I just have not quit. People ask, like, what's the secret to your success? I didn't quit. I didn't give up. And that's honestly, I'm a presidential diamond. Somebody asked what rank I am. So basically, fast forward to now, we are presidential. We're a top income earners. We have been able to pay off over $100,000 in debt. We built our dream home. We moved in August. We have been able to pay cash for college. We paid cash for our wedding. We paid cash for our Tahoe. And now we just live a life that we never thought we could. And we are able to give back more in a year than we used to make in a year. And this business has just been a hugest blessing for us. We've met our best friends through this business. And now we get to help other people do the same thing. And that's why we're on this Zoom. So do you want me to go ahead and jump in, or do you want to tell your story and then let me do it?
I guess I can share my story and then we can just go straight into it. So hey guys, if y'all don't know who I am, I'm Sheyenne Knox. I'm 21 years old and I'm also a presidential. I joined the business 3 years ago as a senior in high school. It was a semester of my senior year, and I saw my upline posting about how she had just paid cash for a brand new car and she was making 5 figures a month. And I looked at her and I said, if she can make 5 figures a month, I can at least make $500 a month. So me and Morgan think the same and a lot of things. And I just knew, you know, like if she can do that, I can do this at least. And so there was a $500 Ruby bonus at the time. And I am very money motivated and I knew what I was running from and I wanted everything that my upline had at one point. And so I joined the business. I went Ruby in my first full month and I saw over $1,000 paycheck within my first 30 days of being in the business. And that was when I truly realized, okay, if I can work for this, I now see why she makes 5 figures a month and I am going after everything people said I wouldn't have. And so when I joined, I was mocked, I was made fun of, I was around so many young people who didn't have a brain cell for something like this. And within 5 months of me being in the business, I was making a full-time income of over $2,000 a month, and I earned a $5,000 bonus 3 days after I graduated high school. And so with that, I paid all my tuition in cash. I took over all the bills from my parents. I was paying everything from A to Z at 18 years old, which was something I never thought I would do with this business. 10 months later, before I finished my freshman year of college, I was making $5,000 a month. And 3 months after that, I hit that 5-figure rank that my upline was at. And so it's so crazy what you can do when you put your head to something and just say, you know, if she can do this, I can do it. And so now we're a presidential team. We're the number 53 income earning team globally. I've been able to pay cash for a Tahoe. I just bought my first home at 21 years old, which is so crazy. I've been able to invest more than I thought I'd make in my entire life. And it's just crazy that I now get to literally change lives as a living. Like so many people are like, oh, my career is this and I do this for money. And I get to literally change lives every single day when I wake up. Like there's nothing better than that. And so we are so excited to train y'all tonight on how we reach this goal that we never thought that we would reach. And so that's my story, and now Morgan's going to hop into the first step.
Yes. Okay. So I'm super excited. So the very first step that you're going to go through to be able to get to your rank, and this is probably the most important because we say this business is 90% mindset or 85 or whatever the percentage is. It's mostly mindset. So if your mindset and your why is not in the right place, then it's not going to be likely that your actions are going to flow from that. Okay. So let's talk about your why. What is the reason that you're doing this business? And I want us to get really serious about this because it's not just like, oh, well, I want to be financially free. Okay. You need something concrete so that when you hit it, you'll know that you've achieved it. Because if I just say financial freedom, what does that actually really mean? Most people don't know. Most people don't truly know what financial freedom looks like. And so if you don't make that, you know, a concrete thing to say like, yes, today I achieved financial freedom. Maybe it's paying off debt. Okay. So then your why is not financial freedom. Your why is to pay off debt. So then let's go deeper than that. If your why is to pay off debt, what debt? Is it a car? Is it a credit card? Is it both? Is it your house? Is it student loans? And then how much money do you have? Ashley Mayfield said this at conference. She said, if you don't know down to the penny what debt you have, you will never be debt free. So if you do not know how much debt you have, get off the Zoom after it's over and figure out what debt you truly have. How much money is it? Add it all up. People on my team, they know how much debt they have. They know down to the penny what they're trying to pay off because we're determined to go debt free. When I was paying off Derek's student loans, my husband, we were paying off our credit cards. We knew down to the penny what they were. And I even did checks, and I had my own checks that I posted up on my wall, and I wrote out what that was to. So one of the, one was like a credit card. So it was written out to Bank of America with the amount of money that I owed on that credit from me. And I put the date on there that I was going to pay it off. So I challenge you to do that. Void a check, put it up on your wall, and say the exact day that you're going to hit it and make that check out from yourself. Obviously, it's not going to be the one that you use, but you know what I'm saying. So be serious about your why if it's paying off debt. If your why is to quit your job, I want you to do the visualization technique that we did at the beginning. What do you feel like when you get to quit your job? I don't know how long Shay has not had a job, but I haven't had a job since March of 2016. And I'm going to tell you right now, it feels pretty dang good to not have clocked into a job for almost 4 years. Owning your own time and being able to be there absolutely whenever your family needs you. Not having to ask somebody if it's okay if you go to Florida for the week. If you want to extend your trip, no, you ain't got to ask for permission. And you have the financial freedom to get another plane ticket. Those things are things that money can't really buy the time that you get. And you can't ever get time back. So if your goal is to quit your job, what day do you want to quit it? Be specific, I guess, is what I'm trying to explain about your why. Because so often I hear, well, I just want to make some extra money. Okay, but you don't want to make extra money because nobody joins for the green paper that is extra money. We all are joining for what that extra money will do for us. So what will that money do for you? It's not about the green paper. So don't say that you joined this business for extra money. Like, that's great. But really, what is the reason why? And until you get to where you feel emotional about that why, keep asking yourself why. And then answer that question. But why? Answer that question again. Okay, but why? Like, okay, I want to be financially free. Why? Because I want to be able to, help my family. But why? Because I want to be able to help my kids. Okay, but why? Because I had to tell them no, that they couldn't be, in dance lessons last week because we don't have the money for it. Okay, but why? Because that's how I grew up, and I never want my kids to have to grow up the same way I did. That's your why, not financial freedom. It's because you want to be able to put your kids in dance classes. Does that make sense? So ask yourself that question over and over again. It was in the Millionaire, oh gosh, what is it called? Millionaire Success Habits is in that book, and it's called the 7-layer rule. So Carmelita, she's like, I know what this is. So he has a 7-layer rule. And so you ask yourself 7 times until you have that 7th layer. And then you're like, yes, okay, this is what my actual why is. So really get serious about what your why is, why you're doing this, because that's going to drive you every single day. The tips that we say now, if you can do every single one of those tips, and you don't know why you're doing them, your results are going to be different than if you did know why you were doing it, because you're going to work with more heart, you're going to work more intentionally, and you're going to work with more passion than you would if you didn't know why you were doing it. Because you're going to give up on the money, but you'll never give up on your kids. So when you realize that that's your reason, and I keep talking about kids, but I don't have kids. So like my why isn't kids, but my why is serious enough that I'm not going to quit and give up on it because it means that much to me, because I have that emotional connection to it. So that's my tips. If you want to say anything else, you can totally add something.
I think that's so good, but all I could think about when you were saying, but why? Like, you should go through the phase that like 2-year-old children go through where they ask, like, why is the sky blue? Why is this? Because you have to get down to the full on deep meaning that's like deep in your soul as to why you want this business to work. The thing that you kept watching and kept watching and kept watching and finally like clicked proceed. Why did you click proceed? Like, what pushed you out of your comfort zone to do that, and keep that at the forefront of your mind. My why has changed 1,000,000 times since I joined this business, because when I first joined, I didn't know why I joined. All I knew was what I didn't want. And sometimes that's good enough just to get you out of your situation, but you're going to reevaluate it over time. So you should be writing these tips down. So the first one's know your why. The second one, get your goals out. Okay. So if you went outside right now and got in your car and had no idea where you were going, where would you end up? You don't know, because you didn't have a single clue where you were going. This business is the same as if you got in your car and put something in your maps, you would end up at the destination of where you're going. So this business is amazing because you don't have to know how to do it. You can join this business with absolutely zero experience and follow all of the tips and tricks and tools that we have lined out for you already. So if you log into your eSuite and you click Document Library at the very top, there is a chart in there called Ruby, okay? This is the promotion you're going for. You just type in Ruby and it says your promotional chart, okay? This is your roadmap to success. This right here is going to show you step by step on how to actually achieve your promotion. You don't have to guess. You don't have to try to figure it out. You don't have to wonder. You know by this chart right here. So with this chart, I'm not going to break it down. I actually have a video on YouTube called Newbie to Ruby, and I explain everything on how to promote to this rank if you want the actual technical details. But what this chart means is that you need 3 people to do this business with you. A best friend, a coworker, a family member, somebody that you know that needs extra income. I guarantee you right now you can think of 5 people in your life that could use an extra few $100s. Am I right? Yes. Fill their names in these boxes. You have the option to change lives with this business, and right off the bat, you're changing 3 lives, okay? So you're gonna fill this box in with 3 people, and then you're gonna show them how to reach their goals. And in the process of you serving other people, you will get what you want in this business. This chart isn't about you. When you join, yes, you want things to be successful. You want that extra $500 a month, but you get to change 3 lives of people on your team. And when you show them, your goals will happen in the process, okay? So with that, that's your first goal. And the second one is getting that shopping spree. You guys, your first goal in this business is to get your first 6 loyal customers if you've joined February and beyond. Before that, you got your shopping spree in a different way. So you're getting those 6 loyal customers. How are you going to get those 6 loyal customers? Is you are going to fill out your steps to success. That is also a document in your eSuite as well under Document Library. Type in steps to success, print out the document. It is 6 loyal customers and 3 distributors. 3 distributors fill this chart. You get your 6 loyal customers, you get $150 shopping spree. You can either use those products or you can sell them as samples. That is your roadmap, y'all. That is how simple it is to first get started with this business. And the third thing is making sure that you are pushing towards that shopping spree by working closely with your upline, okay? And we're gonna go over that in a second, but that's how you're gonna make sure you get those customers for your shopping spree. So that is the simplest thing, guys. I can tell you what, right now, every single promotion I've ever shot for, I have known exactly where I'm going because I always had my charts out. If you don't have a chart out or some roadmap to where you're going, you will just be a hamster stuck in a hamster wheel, doing all these things, not knowing where you're putting them or what you're doing with them or why you're even doing it because you have no idea where you're even supposed to put it. If you have this chart out and you say, okay, it's empty, that means you need 3 distributors. So the only thing you can do is go enroll 3 distributors. You go enroll 1 distributor. You put that name in the box. What does that mean? You need 2 more. You go out there, you find another one. You put that name in the box. What's that mean? You need 1 more, okay? That's how simple it is. You just fill in the boxes and then you fill those boxes with customers. It's as simple as that. And like I said, that video, Newbie to Ruby, will break it down for you in the technicalities of everything. But I always have had this binder since I got started, and I've put my charts in it, and I've put my steps to success in it. I've got these little dividers in here. This last divider here is all my charts for my team and for myself, and this last one is my steps to success. And so I fill them in every single time I get a customer and every single time I get a distributor. So I promise you, I'm pretty sure they say 80% of people that set a goal accomplish it. 80% of the people that set the goal accomplish their goal because they know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that's as simple as that. There's no other explanation for that. So Morgan, if you have anything else to add, you can, or you can go to the third step.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, I remember whenever I was going triple diamond, that was such a crazy month, but I literally kept my chart in my purse, like 24/7. And like whenever I was at home, like that paper was so raggedy by the end of the month. Like I had it in my purse, I'd take it out, like I'd update it at home, it was always laid out. And I put it back in my purse, we'd go out to eat, like somebody would text me, they'd be like, I signed at 30, and I was like, okay, and like erasing it like at the table, and then I put it back, and then we went to a trip for like a CrossFit competition. And so I remember being at the tables like in between heats, and I was like scratching stuff out and like, updating charts and enrolling people, and it's so exciting. Like that's how you want to be, like that's where you want your momentum. And so we're going to talk about working closely with your upline in just a second, but that's huge because the people that like you are on other people's charts too. So like you updating us on any volume that you get is helping us know where everything is being placed. So it's not only helping you to stay close to the fire, but it's also it's also helping us chart as well because you're on our charts. Dakota is on my team and she said you wrote on your chart with lip gloss because I didn't have a pen. It's true. I literally could not find a pen. I was like, lip gloss, fine, done. And I promoted that day. It was crazy. So much fun. Anyways, so the next thing we're going to talk about is your 6 list. Okay. So, make sure that you're writing this out because I want to make sure that every single one of y'all remember what this is so that you don't get overwhelmed. A part of it is connecting with your team, which will lead us right into Shay's next point. So the 6 list. I'll just name everything and then I'll kind of go a little bit into detail about it. Okay. So, we'll start with posting. So write this down. So 6 list, number 1 is posting. Number 2 is message. Number 3 is follow. So like adding to your network, following new people. Follow up. And then self-development. And then the last one is like connecting with your team / updating charts, things like that. Okay. So let's talk about posting. So I was talking to some people today and they're, going for Ruby. They're brand new distributors, things like that. So some of you may be brand new. Some of you may have been in the business for a while when you're going for Ruby. And a lot of what they said was, how do I post my story if I haven't done the house thing and I haven't done the car thing and I haven't done the 6-figure thing. And when we shared our story, we have done all those things, but I want you to remember where we were when we joined too, because we didn't join any differently than you did. We did not join as a presidential and they were like, here, you know what? Oh my gosh, lucky person of the day. We're just going to gift you with the rank of presidential. We're just going to give you all of these things so you can go post about them. We didn't get that either. So remember back to whenever I first joined, I was a broke college student. I just wanted money for gas. I literally did not have any money in the bank account. And I was commuting back and forth to school. I didn't know anybody. I had just moved up to Michigan. I didn't have anything to post about. But you know what I did have was hope. And if you have hope and you talk about that, you're going to set yourself apart from everybody else on social media, because how many times a day do you see people posting about hope and encouragement and they're not a networks distributor? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're like, yeah, I saw that today from somebody that's not a networks distributor. Okay, so okay, well, y'all are ruining my point. Stop putting ones. I'm just kidding. But basically, if you're posting about excitement and like the hope that you have, people are gonna realize that there's something different about you. Like, why is she so excited? What is she so passionate about? Why does she have so much hope? And they're gonna be drawn to whatever you're doing. So yeah, you may still be broke, just like the person reading your post, but the difference is that you're doing something about it. And so you can talk about that and talk about that this business is going to pay for your gas and it's going to pay for your groceries. I remember posting about those and I hadn't made a dime yet, but I've talked about every customer that I enrolled. I talked about the shopping spree that I earned whenever I got my first 4 customers. And now whenever you get your first 6 customers, you get $150 in a shopping spree. So I posted about every bonus that I earned, every fast start. I posted about every single time that I made Rat Cash, now Coffee Cash. So I remember taking that cash and posting a selfie with me holding the cash in front of Aldi. And I said, I told y'all this business was going to pay for my groceries and I'm about to walk in and pay for my groceries the first time without having to put it on a credit card, and I don't have to use coupons. And everybody wanted to join me at that point because that wasn't the first time that they had seen me post about the business. It was because they've seen me for 6 months, or really it wasn't that long, but they've seen me for a while talking about what this business was going to do for me. It's going to pay for groceries. It's going to pay for groceries. It's going to pay for groceries. And some of them were probably like, yeah, right. Okay. Like, this stuff is a scam, whatever. But then they saw me do it and they were like, oh, okay, well, if she can do that, then I can do that. So it's like, it's a deeper level because now they're not only just watching your story, they're cheering you on. And I had so many people congratulate me whenever I was able to pay for college in cash, because that was another thing that I claimed for myself. So just putting those goals out there, and that starts with you dreaming bigger. If you know what you want in life, you can easily start to post about it. without having made a dime. Post about these products and how much you love them. Some of you are on here and you haven't even gotten your starter kit yet. That's amazing. Congrats to you for being on here. If you are somebody who is in that situation, post a picture of your regular coffee and say, 3 days left of me drinking this regular coffee, and I'm so excited to switch it out for my skinny brew because it's going to start burning fat and y'all are going to see some amazing results. So stay tuned to my post because I'm going to share my journey with you. Boom. You don't even have products, but you can post about it. Okay. So don't let yourself have excuses. If you look for an excuse, you'll find it. If you look for a solution, you'll find it. So the next part is, let me go back up and remember which order I did this in, messaging, I think. So let's talk about messaging. So messaging and posting go hand in hand. You can't message without posting and you can't post without messaging. The reason is because if you're posting, but you're not asking, people aren't just going to flock to you. That would be great if they did, but especially at the beginning, they're not going to because you have to build that trust. So you have to go out and message them. And how many times have you been interested in something that you saw on your timeline and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then you just kept scrolling. But then what if somebody from that company had reached out and said, hey, I saw that you were looking at the curling iron. Are you interested? I saw you like the post about the curling iron. Would you like me to help you get started? Would you be more likely to order? Yeah. And it's not because you weren't interested that you kept scrolling. It was just because it was just like inconvenient. But if somebody reached out, then you would. But with messaging, if you're messaging people and saying, oh my gosh, I have these amazing products, I'm so excited about them, would you be open to trying them? And then they're like, oh, who is this girl? And then your profile, or who is this guy? They go to your profile and there's nothing about the products. They're going to think it's a spammy message. They're going to think it's a scam because they're going to be like, what products is she talking about? There's nothing on here on this page about that. So you have to do both. Messaging, message for host to post. Okay, what I do personally, and you can do this absolutely however you want to. Personally, what I do is on Facebook, I message for host to post. So I ask people, hey, I have a question. Would you be willing to post this on your, wall for me? And then you go into this drawing. I'm sure all of us have some sort of a host to post giveaway we're doing with our team. So we have that. And then on Instagram, I message for customers and I ask them if they'd be willing to be a product model. And then if they say yes, I give them information. If they say no, I ask them to host a post for me by putting a slide up on their Instagram story about the business. And so I then just like I tell them to tag me in the little box down at the bottom. And then whenever they tag me, it's that slide that I made just on over. And it says, message the word money to, and then they put my name there. And so then they click on my name and then they message me the word money. Okay. So that's what I do on Instagram. That's what I do on Facebook. It's very simple. And if I were you, I would stop worrying about the perfect words and having to get the perfect script to message people and just start being you, just start being genuine and just start sending the messages. Because I'd much rather you make active mistakes because you're working really hard and doing all the things than to make passive mistakes because you're sitting back and overanalyzing everything. So I want you to go out there and I want you to fail forward, learn what messages work for you and what don't. Because I'm going to tell you a message, if I told you a message and then you tried it, it may or may not work for you, but it may work really well for me. So we're all different and all of our audiences are different. So let's talk about following. So whenever you're following new people, lots of ways you can do it. Basically, what I do is on Instagram, I'll look up a hashtag that I have in common. So I will not look up something like twin mom because I have nothing in common with twin moms, okay? I'm not going to find people like just on purpose because they're twin moms. I'm not. But I might say like golden retriever mom because I am a golden retriever mom. And Stacy, who is also a golden retriever mom, she may have twins, but I didn't find her because she has twins. I found her because we have a dog and we have the same kind. Does that make sense? So you're not looking for just college students or just moms or whatever whatever you have in common with them. You're just looking for one thing. And they may be a college student. They may be a mom. They may be 50 years old. They may be 78. You never know, but you want to have something in common with them so that you can connect. Then you follow them, and I usually try to like a couple of their pictures and comment on a post whenever I add them. And that's just so that they'll add me back. And so I do that. And then on Facebook, what I like to do is go through the ads that show up on my timeline. And I go through the ads and I just go through the comments or the likes. And I find people who I think, their profile picture is bright. It's not like dark. It's not a picture of a cat. And I try to find those people and I we'll add a couple of them, and then I find like a girl's like profile and she looks really nice. She maybe has like a really crisp profile, like clean and bright, and I'll go and I'll look at her friends and I'll look at the suggested and I'll add a couple of them. And then I go back to the ad and I keep doing the same thing. The reason I go to an ad, maybe for a straightener or HelloFresh or whatever it is because it's showing up on my timeline because Facebook says, oh, Morgan is probably interested in blank, whatever the ad is. And so if I'm going to people who commented and liked the ad, that also means it was on their Facebook, which means that for some reason, Facebook thinks that we are both interested in this thing. So it means we probably have something in common. Okay. So that's why I go to those and I just can connect with people that way. When I am adding them, I'm going and liking a couple of their pictures, you know, creating that relationship, and probably 2 days, 3 days later, after doing that, I'm going to go and message them. And so if you're following people every single day, you're going to end up messaging people every single day because I'm following people today, but I'm messaging the people from 2 or 3 days ago while I'm following new people. And that cycle just continues. Okay. So whenever I'm messaging them, again, I'm messaging them for host to post. So that's how you follow. Follow up is super simple. If you're on my team page, I have a hashtag follow up method video on our Dare to Be Diamond page. And that just goes over exactly what I do to follow up with people. If you're not on my team page, basically I just go through and I have a planner and I write everybody's name down that I talked to on the day that I talked to them. And then I just go back 2 days later and I say, hey, are you still interested? If not, I would hate, you know, I could take you off my follow-up list. I would hate to bug you. Or I will say like, what you think? Or just something super simple. I don't do gimmicky, you know, catchy follow-ups. I just want to be real and say, you know, are you still interested? Because if not, that's okay, but just let me know. And so I follow up with them that way. You can come up with whatever your method is for follow-ups, but make sure that you have one because the fortune is in the follow-up. And if you're expecting people to sign on the spot, you're going to be really disappointed and you're going to miss out on a lot of people. And you're going to start planting the seeds for me and other people that are actually doing the work and following up to harvest. So you're going to go and be the first person that talks to them, but you never followed up with them. And then I don't know that you talked to them. So I swoop in and I say, hey, are you still interested? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm still interested. I'm ready to order. And I get somebody to sign up on the spot, but you had already talked to them and I had no idea, but you never followed up. So you missed the opportunity. The next one is self-development. So let's talk about what self-development is not really quick. Self-development is not this Zoom right here, okay? These Zooms are very important. You can listen to these Zooms. I would highly recommend going back and listening to certain top leaders who you really love and admire. Go back to their YouTubes and listen to those, but it's not self-development. This is business development, okay? Watching a sermon, also not self-development. That is spiritual development. Those are all different. So self-development, what it is listening to an audible book about leadership. Maybe it's listening to, you know, a podcast about somebody who's actually a business owner, somebody who actually knows what they're doing with network marketing or owning a business or whatever it is. My favorite podcast is the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast. I can type it in the chat in a minute when I'm done talking. And one of my favorite books, especially starting out, is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, or The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. If you are going Ruby, those two books are really, really good ones for you to listen to because they're very simple. They're very easy to listen to. I listen to them on Audible because I do not have time to sit down and read a book, especially during promotion month. So when I'm listening to Audible, I do it in the car. I do it while I fold laundry. I do it while I'm doing dishes. And that is my self-development. The last one is to connect with your team. So that just means making sure that they have what they need, giving them tasks to do for the day, making sure that you're going through that new distributor training. We have that on our team page. I'm sure every single one of us have that on a team page. Use that, send that to them one at a time. Make sure they're getting the tools that you got whenever you join. If you have a Zoom that you're getting on, make sure they know that they have a Zoom to get on too and say, hey, you know, I'd love for you to hop on this with me. Whenever you're charting, make sure that you're including them in that you're teaching them how to chart. If you don't know how to chart, that's when you talk to your upline. Hey, bro, what do you do? I just signed in a customer. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to move it. I don't know what moving means, but I need some help and I'm so excited. Just tell me where to put it. Like, show me what to do. Contact the people that are helping you and contact the people that are on your team. It's both. Just connect with them and stay close to the fire. That means get in the team pages. Make sure you have your notifications on. Be present in the chats, not 24/7. We don't want you just like sitting in the chats, but know what's going on, be aware of your surroundings, get on the family calls, things like that, and get to events. That's just plugging in and connecting. That's your 6 list every single day. So if y'all have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I know I'm like still up here, so y'all probably do have questions down there. But Shay, if you have anything else you want to add to, you can. And I'll type out everything I said in a second.
Yeah, guys, success leaves clues, and exactly what Morgan does is exactly what I teach my team to do, and it's exactly what all the top leaders share with their team. Like there's no secret sauce. I know a lot of times you're going to message other top leaders, and I know this because I get a ton of them a day of like, I'm doing all these things, but it's not working, or I'm doing this, and I go to their profile and I click on it and they haven't posted in 3 weeks. And it's like, well, people don't know what you're doing. You have to have that confidence like we talked about. You have to be excited about what you're doing. You have to share what you're doing, because if they don't know what you're doing, why would they join you? Because they're confused what you're even talking about. So that is why, you post about this business every day. You message new people every day, because not everyone you talk to is going to be interested. You follow people every single day to grow that network of constantly having new people to your page. You stay plugged in, getting on these Zooms, on these trainings. I give 90% of my success to Zoom trainings, Facebook Lives, plugging into events, because how would I have ever learned? Me and Morgan, we joined this business with no experience. We had real 9-to-5, like basic jobs. And then we joined this business and we're like, what do we even do? Like, I don't know what this is. It's uncharted territory, but it's uncharted territory for everyone. And so that flows into number 4, working with your upline. Y'all, repeating it again for those of you that zoned out. Work with your upline, okay? This is so important because they've been where you've been, okay? You're new in this. You're trying to go Ruby. You're trying to, grab the reins and understand how this business works. They've been through the things. They've been through the struggles. They've learned the ways to have conversations with people. They've learned how to post. They know what they're doing, and that's why you have to work with them. Now, this is another thing. A lot of people feel like they annoy their upline. Right? How many of you feel like you're like, oh my gosh, my upline hates me. I'm blowing up their phone all day long. I've sent them 74 text messages. I'm going to ask you a question. If you had 2 people join you, one was on fire. They were posting, they were messaging, they were blowing up their upline, like they were sending them screenshots. And then you got another one that won't reply to you, never posts, never talks about the business, and absolutely does not care. Who are you going to work with? This one, because they're on fire and they're blowing up my phone and they're sending me screenshots and they're excited. That's what we want to work with. And that's what we get paid to do, is pour into you and help you learn how to do this business. So please, for the love of all things holy, y'all, reach out to your upline, ask them questions. But this is also another thing. Don't just talk to them when it's good. Go to them when you're struggling. Go to them when someone says something rude to you. Go to them when you don't know what to do, or you're struggling with a caption, or you don't know how to respond. Nothing is stupid, because I can tell you what, I still text my upline to this day. I still call Morgan and like, hey, is this dumb? Should I do it? I don't know. What do I respond to this? How do I ask this question? I don't know. It's never going to go away. And so it's good to start now, because you're literally going to be like this with your upline. And if they don't know the answer, someone else does. They have an upline. They have an upline. There's a team page. There's YouTube. Like, you have resources. This is what you don't do. I don't know how to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. And then I'm just going to like quit the business because like I don't know how to do it and I can't figure it out. And I'm just, not self-sufficient. I'm not going to try to figure it out. That's not what you do. You go
or were you like, we don't hear from you for like a week and a half, and we're like, so is everything good? Like, I haven't heard from you. Is everything going so great? And you're like, no, I just haven't known how to do stuff, so I just like haven't done it. Like, why didn't you ask? You should have asked. It would help you.
I just had that happen right now. She was like, well, I didn't have this. And she enrolled a customer like 7 days ago, and they didn't enroll through her website. And she never told me she enrolled the customer. I'm like, this is what I'm here for. We want you to blow up our phone. So I encourage you to blow them up with questions, good, bad, discouraged, all the things. But this is the biggest tip with that. Go to them with a solution mindset. Hey, I'm struggling with this. How can I get better? Hey, I don't know how to answer this. How should I answer this? Hey, I'm kind of feeling discouraged. What do you do when you go through a discouragement? You're going to have to be solution-minded and not go to your upline and be like, this is happening and I'm so frustrated. I'm over it and I can't get a customer and I can't get a distributor and no one's responding to me. Like, you want to go to them having that solution mindset so you can get a good answer out of them. And when it comes to that 6 list that we just explained to you, like working the business, guys, when I joined, like I just said earlier, I didn't know what I was doing. My messages, I had a post come up on my time hop yesterday. Holy moly of Jesus, it was rough. My caption was join my team, #it works. My picture was a customer enrollment that was so big it was over my face. And I'm holding a picture of fat fighters, and my caption is #join my team. Okay. It gets better. But you know how I got better was I followed my upline. I watched what she did. If she made a caption, I took that caption and I made it my own. If she posted, well, we didn't have stories then, so consider yourself blessed, okay? Because I don't know how I enrolled then, but if she did something, I did it. If she did another thing, if she told me to get on a Zoom, I was on 10 minutes early. If she, told me to do something, I was doing it because I want to do what successful people do. And your uplines have been where you've been. They've gone through the journeys. They've gone through the valleys. They've learned the lessons. So let them teach you and let them pour into you. And I promise you that when you start plugging in more and you get on these trainings and you stay on these Facebook Lives, and when you do get discouraged and when you feel like you're not enrolling or not getting customers, pulling back is not the answer, because getting farther from the fire is going to make you more and more and more discouraged. Stay plugged in, stay close to the fire, because at the end of the day, we've all been where each other has been. There is someone else in your shoes that is successful because they kept pushing forward, okay? So Morgan's gonna go over number 5, which is flowing into what I just said.
Let me grab my notes real quick.
Discouragement.
It keeps like falling off, huh? Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's talk about like mindset / like discouragement and all that good stuff. So there are gonna be times when you are going to feel discouraged. There are going to be times where you feel like, is this really worth it? Do I need to really keep going? Are my goals really this important? And the answer is yes. But in that moment, you're going to want to give up. And it's in that time where you truly see what you're made of. And that's called grit. Okay. So I don't want you to give up when it's hard, because what if we gave up when it was hard to do, to walk? Like whenever you're first trying to walk, whenever you were a baby and you fell, you never once sat on the ground and said, I'm never trying that again. You fell and you got back up and you tried again, and then you fell on your face, and then you got back up and you tried again and you fell and you got back up, and now you can run, and now you can jump, and now you can, lift weights, and now you can go and, jog and ride a bike and swim, and you couldn't even walk when you were born. But now look at you. Same with this business. You're going to have times where you're going to fall, but you have to get back up. Because if you want to know the difference between people who are successful at this and people who are not, it has nothing to do with who we are or where we came from or what we look like or the jobs that we have, how smart we are, has nothing to do with any of that. It literally comes down to grit. Grit is better than talent. So if you feel like you don't have what it takes to do this business, ask yourself if you're willing to go all in and to never give up and to continue to push forward even when you have setbacks. If your answer is yes, then you do have what it takes. Because we can teach you how to post. We can teach you how to message. We can teach you how to listen to self-development, but we can never teach you how to have heart. We can never teach you how to have grit. That comes from within you. So this is the you part. We can teach you the rest of what we're talking about, but we cannot teach you how to keep moving forward. That is a decision that you have to make for yourself. And not just once, but every single day. And I think it's important to talk about this because whenever you're driving down the road, if you're going 60 miles per hour and you didn't see a speed bump ahead of you and you just smacked into a speed bump at 60 miles per hour, you'd be a little thrown off. You'd like be a little shaken up. You would have to like regroup, gather yourself, probably pull off to the side of the road, make sure the car was okay. Like, hang on a second. Let me just make sure I'm okay. Like, little seatbelt burn. But then if you look and you're going 60 miles per hour and you see that speed bump ahead, and you can say, okay, I see there's a speed bump. I'm going to do what I need to do to prepare myself for this speed bump. And then I'm just going to cruise over it and I'm going to keep going and back up to 60 miles per hour. That's how it is with this business. You have to expect the things that are going to happen in your business so that when they do, it doesn't shake you up and rattle you so much that you have to pull off over to the side of the road and make sure that the parts are not broken completely. You just keep going. And so it's not that we're telling you and speaking this over you and saying, yeah, your life's going to be crap. Good luck. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying you're going to have hard times. So be prepared for that, so that when they do happen, you're not confused. You're not like, whoa, wait, I didn't know that was going to happen. You knew ahead of time. You prepared yourself and you said, when I get told no, this is what I'm going to do. When I hear, no, or whenever I, miss this promotion in the future, this is what I'm going to do. And you have that plan ahead of time, it's going to save you from a lot of heartache in the future. And so a couple of different things that I do is obviously self-development whenever I get discouraged. The other thing is I put it into perspective, okay? Because it's funny, okay, let me pause. I have a lot of things going through my mind. So when Shay and I were like back in the beginning of our business, at least I know that I looked at people who were triple presidential ambassador and I was like, oh my gosh, like their life is so perfect. None of their team quits. Literally everything is so easy for them in their charts. And they never have customers cancel. Everyone they message says yes, because why would they not? They're making so much money. Wrong. Sorry to tell you. It's not true. And we get discouraged too. So it doesn't get better. It doesn't get easier. It's not that you just stop getting discouraged and that things stop happening. It's just that you get better. You become better, and it's not going to be so much of a blow when you level yourself up. Okay. So whenever I hear the word no, because I have heard no a lot in the last week, the last 5 days, I've just been pushing so hard and I've heard no more than I have in so long. And I even wrote this on my team page. It's scheduled. So it's going to go up tomorrow. But basically I said, if you've heard no more in the last week than you ever have in your life, congratulations. It means you're talking to the most people that you ever have in your business. Because when you are talking to 10 people a day, what's the max amount of no's you can hear? 10. But when you're talking to 200 people a day, you have host to post blowing up, you're messaging people, you're getting responses, you're trying TikTok, you don't know what you're doing, but you're putting videos out there like what I'm doing, and you just start doing all the things, and you start getting all these messages, and you hear 100 no's. Good for you. Because it means you message more people. It means you talk to more people. Because before you only heard 10 no's because you only talked to 10 people. But now you're hearing more no's because your ratio is higher. You're going to hear more no's when you're talking to more people, and that's amazing. Because all those no's, we all know, turn into a yes. So that's where your follow-up comes up. But don't get discouraged because you see where you are right now. It's the last thing I'll say about this because we have one more tip at the end. But the last thing I'll say is that so many of us walk through life and walk through these promotion months with a straw mentality. And I don't know where this came from, but I talk about it a lot, and nobody's ever heard of it. So I don't know if God gave you this analogy. You're like, what happened? But okay, it's a straw. So it's like you're looking through a straw. Okay. So imagine a drinking straw. So you're looking through a straw. What do you see when you look through that straw? If you have your other eye closed, you're looking through a straw. What do you see? Only literally what you are looking at, the tiniest little bit of what is in front of you. That's all you can see. So where is your focus? On that tiny little thing, whatever that may be. And you can't see the full picture. But if you were to remove that straw, you would be able to see the entire landscape of what is around you. You'd be able to see everything very, very clearly, all to the left and all to the right, all in front of you. And you could see so much further than you can with a straw. Remove the straw. Stop looking at your situation as it is right now and look at what it could be. Stop looking at the amount of enrollments you've had so far this month and look at the amount of enrollments you're going to have because of how many seeds you've planted this month. Stop looking at where your volume is now and counting yourself out and look at where your volume could be. Know that there are people who have started with zero volume and gone up to 5,000 in 1 month. Why not you? There was one thing that they said at conference, and they said, stop asking how and start asking why not. So that's what I challenge you to do for the rest of this month. Stop asking, how is this going to happen? How am I going to do this? And I've had to check myself on that going ambassador because I don't freaking know how it's going to happen. Literally by the grace of God alone is how it's going to happen, and my freaking amazing team. But we have a long way to go. So I could sit here and get discouraged, and I could sit here and ask, how is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? And look at this chart and be just so obsessed and nervous and anxious. But I choose not to do that. I choose to throw off those feelings, separate myself from the fear of anxiety and stress and being fearful, and to put on the excitement and just knowing that this business can change my life. And that is what I'm looking for, because I'm going to take the straw away and stop looking at all the problems and start looking for the solution, because whatever you look for is what you're going to find.
And you took the words right out of my mouth, because number 6 is make a decision. Guys, the number one thing that I can tell you at the beginning of every month is that if you make a decision of what you want in the next 30 days or 28 in February, if you make the decision, there is no way you won't accomplish that goal, because there is something crazy about when you make a decision, nothing else matters. And what she just said about the fact that so many times people get crippled by trying to figure out how. You sit there at the beginning of the month and you're like, how am I going to get these distributors? How am I going to get the customers? How am I going to post every single day? How am I going to do this? Because I also have a job. I also have children. I have this. I have this. I have all these requirements. Like, how am I going to sacrifice? Like, you start going 90 to nothing about how you're going to get the promotion done. And let me tell you what, stop trying to figure out how. You will get so crippled that you will forget to move, and God cannot bless the steps that you're not willing to take. You've got to start putting one foot in front of the other and go after what you want, because number one, if you know why you're doing this, nothing else matters. Number 2, if you have this chart out and you know exactly where you're going, why can't you accomplish it? Because this is literally the roadmap to success. Number 3, if you're doing your 6 list every single day, you're posting, you're messaging, you're following up with those people you've been talking to, you're interacting, you're staying plugged in, why wouldn't you be successful? Because that's what we've done. If number 4, you're working closely with your upline, you're asking them questions, you're talking to them, you're growing, you're doing what you're supposed to do to be successful, why won't you promote? Number 5, if you know you're going to get discouraged and you know you're going to go through valleys, because the way to get to the top of the mountain is to go through the valleys along the way. If you know they're going to happen, you're going to be able to handle them and work closely with people and stay close to the fire to get through them. Number 6, if you make that decision lastly, there's no reason you can't promote, because I don't know how I'm going to go ambassador. Just like Morgan said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I sure can't sit here and try to figure it out, because the only thing I know to do is work my business and do these same 6 things that we just told you exactly how to do. And that's the only thing you can do. You know, when I was going presidential, I needed over 27,000 in volume, and I needed like 60 distributors. When I went triple diamond, I needed over 24,000 in GV, and I needed about 30 distributors. Did I ever stop and think, how the heck am I going to do this? Maybe for 5 seconds, until I snapped myself out of it and said, look, my God is greater than any amount of volume that I need, any amount of distributors that I need, any amount of fear that I have, because he knows that I've been busting my butt. He knows that I stay up late, that I get up early, that I put in the hours, that I lead my team, that I love my people. I don't know how it's going to happen. But if I make the decision today, right now, that nothing is going to stand in between me and the goals that I want for me, my future family, for my team, for the things that are my why, it won't matter. So I challenge you tonight to get to work, to evaluate why you're doing this business, to make a decision, and to take everything that we just poured into you and go apply it. Because I can pour into you all day, Morgan can share all the tips with you, but if you're not going to take what we taught you tonight and put it into action, we can give you the tools and you can put them in your toolbox, but if you don't actually take the tools out of your toolbox and put them to work, nothing will happen. I love y'all. I'm going to put this up on my YouTube. I'm going to stop this recording and we're going to start and hop right back into our Emerald training. So if you are trying